And Board Member Brian DeSessa.
Present.
And in place of Sean Cambridge, we have Christine Scalera today.
Hi, Christine. Okay, does anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes
So moved.
of the meeting from February 8th?
Yeah,
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, we have a hearing between Lawrence Bloomberg and Flanders Heating and AC that was closed for decision. We want to make a motion on that and then move forward into the next.
You want me to make one?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll make.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, on the matter of Bloomberg, I would, we have reviewed, we have heard the testimonies.
It's probably better.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I
It's
don't
assigned
know
to me,
what.
I'll make the
so-
motion.
Okay, fine.
I didn't,
Uh,
enough of that. So, on the application for,
If you can read that, sorry.
Bloomberg.
basically on this application for a decision based on the legal standing, we're not gonna, we legally don't have the authority to move forward at this time on a decision for that, so at this time it would be dismissed. That would be my motion.
Right,
You have a second?
does it, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved.
Okay.
Okay. So next up, we have Mr. and Mrs. Stein versus Good Guys Contracting Corp. Nice, we have both parties here. Hi, how are you? We would like to hear from both of you, so since you filed a complaint, do you guys want to come up first? You have to be sworn in with the attorney, and if you want to speak here, or you can sit here. Whoever's going to speak.
Who's going to be speaking?
Alan
Okay.
Alan
Are you-
Stein.
Are you more comfortable standing or sitting?
It doesn't really matter, is it? Which is at the
We just
pleasure
need
of
to
the
have you by
board.
a microphone,
Whatever
so
you-
either there or
whichever.
you could sit here if you're more comfortable.
That might be better.
And if you could just, once you get settled, just raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
Yes.
God?
Right, members of the board, we purchased our home in Quogue approximately 21, 22
I don't know
years
if they're
ago.
going to be able to hear you.
Okay.
I just have to check that.
You got it?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah, with the microphone.
We've lived in our home for 22 years out there. And when we decided to redo the exterior, because pretty much everybody understands that after a good number of years, the cedar does not seem to hold up well. And we decided on the product to bring in the hardy. And trying to look around and find somebody who we thought could be licensed, dependable, responsive, all the things that we hoped for, we met David Ferraro, who I believe is here today. And the one and only time that we met him was the day that he sold the job to us. It took a long time for the job to commence because, as everyone knows, the problems in securing materials would take a long time. The problem that we're here for now was as a result of a flood that we ended up having when it became evident that water was pouring into our house and we didn't know why. We called our public adjuster, who immediately contacted people to come to do remediation when there is a problem, because the water was pouring into our bathroom, going into all the adjacent rooms, and then making its way into a basement that we had completely finished, I would say, a few weeks before this incident. My wife woke up in the morning to the sounds of Niagara Falls on the other side of the house. I'm wearing my hearing aids so I can hear you well. She heard the water coming in. We immediately ran over, saw what was going on, and I made a call because there was no way of stopping anything. We tried to figure out what was going on. The people who are professionals to see, they start checking the walls, you know, the moisture, everything that they have to do to see what's going to be done to start to have to clean up the mess and move along. I contacted Good Guys Contracting, and the last thing that was done with regard to our roofing had nothing to do with the job that they were doing and had nothing to do with even the time frame of this job. Everything was complete and contrary to the language in what was sent to the board. To the extent the person who prepared the report was never there, to the extent that Mr. Ferraro was never there, that I had reached out to him many, many times as somebody who is responsible, doing a job that was thousands of dollars. There were times when there were certain concerns, and we want to get an idea what was going on. Ultimately, through the good graces of somebody that would take care of caulking on the roof to see if, because having skylights every now and then, you don't want to have problems, I was able to get somebody on the roof when they then looked on the north side of the house and noticed that as part of our contract, they were putting in new leaders and gutters, not changing the leaders and gutters. And I guess what I know what they did, somebody, without speaking to us, took what was a pipe, a like 1.5 inch or 2 inch PVC pipe that had been literally incorporated into the hardy plank, which we really would have not caught it. It's, you know, up at basically at the top, right under what I'm going to call the flat roof line. And what was happening is that as the water was being let off the roof from the system that's on the roof into, quote, the leaders and gutters, Good Guys, or the person that they brought in, who, for purpose of the record and FOIL, I understand, is not a licensed party. And under the circumstances, the water was, pardon me, coming off the roof. And I have, if you have pictures, you see very clearly that a new way of getting involved with leaders and gutters was creating a pipe that went, not creating, but taking the pipe that I didn't find out was leading nowhere, but it was certainly not going, it was basically what was happening, instead of the water just getting into the leaders and gutters and being drawn away, it made its quick exit into the house.
Okay.
And thereafter, when Good Guys came, they saw, and this was, they came 2 months after the leaders and gutters were put up. And the leaders and gutters were then attached to whatever was on the ground. Or, you know, and there was like the rubberized pipe leading away from the house. And I saw what was going on, the leaders and gutter, that particular portion of the, I call rubber piping that was leading it away, was clogged. But the point was, the system, even at worst, if it was working properly and overflowed, it would not have come into my house. It would have stayed back on the, or, you know, come off from the leaders and gutter system. We're not inventing anything new. I did a little research on leaders and gutters, and you start to find out they've been around for thousands of years. The Romans were involved with them. They were dealing with gutters, and that's how everybody sees things. And the frustration is that, I guess at the beginning, the Good Guys took the position that they would put the blame for purposes of insurance onto the fellows who did the leaders and gutters.
We
As it
find
turned-
out that they were unlicensed, and then they were gonna put it through, and then all of a sudden, they denied
No,
liability.
basically, it's the same, I would appreciate just once. It turns out that the same company is with both parties. I had no idea that anybody who was coming to our home would
Same
not be
company with
licensed.
both parties, same
Same
insurance
insurance.
company.
Turns out had the same insurance company, like if you had Geico, I had
But so-
Geico.
The-
But
The
but
gutter guy
not,
was insured.
what?
The gutter guy was insured, is
No,
what you're saying?
not
But he
insured.
wasn't licensed,
He
Oh, he
was
wasn't
not
licensed,
licensed.
but he was insured.
Yes, and for whatever the reason, that I cannot understand it, my company ended up having to pay over $20,000 for the repairs. A certain amount that they didn't take care of is what I believe that had been worked out, that they were going to take care of it, that never worked. And it just became what I would say is, the best way to say it, denial. Everything that happened was on somebody else's dime. And in reading this, it's rather frustrating because I would say it's really quite a departure from the truth. And what's frustrating to us mostly was that when you are paying somebody $50,000, $75,000, and you're having kind of a catastrophe at your house, I would think, as a person who is responsible, it's your business to come over and see what's going on and not try to find or try to blame whatever it is, which is, unfortunately, what I'm saying is not truthful. And that's, I think, basically everything that, Mr. DeSesa, you see from, I think, the picture over there, clearly what went on. And I've
So
never
they
seen,
hooked a leader up to a vent pipe.
which was actually
Yeah.
probably part of a long ago flat roof drain that could have drained that, but there was nothing coming from the roof.
Was this existing? Because this looks like was this an existing?
That
before?
was what they did, but this was what they connected to it.
This was existing, and they connected this to that.
But
Right.
this is after they did the gutters, the pictures.
Yes,
I'm
this
saying,
was,
wasn't
this
your
was
original
after,
letters,
this
no.
was showing the problem that we were able to observe. And quite frankly, while I've lived in homes with leaders and gutters, I would not even be able to see what was going on in the back or be directed to it. And it was like the reason that we even got involved with new leaders and gutters is after they removed all of the, pardon me, siding, and everything gets ripped off. You could not start to put back, the existing stuff. And if they were doing it, and I'm going to say a good workmanlike fashion, why would you just even put in something that I can't see, because it's, let's say, the gutter is on top, the leaders come down, and then to put it into something, in 2 months, the same problem that we had with, it was really a gigantic storm, probably one of the worst storms that we had experienced in the time that we've been out there. And the bottom line was, if not for almost doing two things, leaving us in a position in 2 months that the leader and gutter system would not be operational based upon that. But it's kind of like denied, in some respects, what I'm trying to say. If you come in as a licensed party, you have to respect the fact that you're licensed. You have to do the right thing. I think under the circumstances, we did not want to come here. I did not want to come here. I did not want to get involved. But afterwards, you begin to see that when you're getting nowhere, you don't have a choice. And it's not a way to treat people. It's not a way to look after a job that costs significant sums of money. And then we had to literally redo everything that had been done in our basement.
Do you mind
And if you have any
I-
questions,
Yeah, I do.
please.
Who completed the basement renovation?
The
You said the basement
basement,
was just renovated.
the basement was done by another party.
And what did that consist of?
That consisted of, that all went through QuAG, our village.
Playroom,
Was there any plumbing work involved?
No.
No, no plumbing.
As, there's a question about like the roofing that was done. When was the last time you actually had roofing done on the house?
Hurricane Sandy.
That's what you said in the letter.
That was a result of Hurricane Sandy.
Which
Occasionally,
is
there would
2012,
12
something like
to
that,
13,
14
yeah.
or,
Yeah, so to say
Okay.
that they had to wait to start the job
Yeah, so
because we
you're-
were having roofing done, blatant lie.
How long after the gutters were completed did the flood happen?
2 months.
You said the gutters had clogged up or backed up and then it came into the house?
When everybody was out there trying to figure out what was going on, the pictures that were submitted are truthful, that what was clogged at the bottom, which was several feet away, it was clogged. But the point was, the only access back to the house was through, as you see
No,
pictured.
because my question is, if the water's falling down, if it's coming through here,
Right,
it only goes up and into the house if it was backed up. Right? If it's coming off the roof, it
Yes.
can't, it
Yes,
can't
it
go
does.
into,
Yeah.
That's correct.
that's what my
It's like a
question.
backflow.
so if it
Right,
was.
it backflowed into
So,
yeah.
you're right,
Okay.
but obviously if it was never.
I agree that never, I'm just trying to figure out how the water went, because if the
Yeah.
water's coming off the roof, it's gonna go down.
Yeah,
It-
It's not gonna go in.
Exactly.
That's
You're
what
right,
it's
you're right.
designed to
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
We agree.
So it backed up at the bottom and the whole gutter filled up with water,
And then,
it came into the house.
Yes.
Okay.
Wasn't properly installed.
right,
We're dealing with
Yes.
two separate issues there, right?
all
So
right. No,
You're
we
saying an installation
appreciate it.
issue, and I'm saying had the water get there. Two different things, yeah.
Right. And then on the insurance company, so you got paid $20,000 from the
Plus.
insurance company?
Yes,
Plus. And then somebody repaired the basement and took care of the work?
right.
Was
We
that
had
the insurance company's-
the carpeting and whatever else had to be done, right.
Mhm. And did they correct this issue? As
That
far-
issue was corrected immediately on the day of the disaster,
Who corrected it?
because the good guys sent the folks who did the leader gutter work.
Oh, so they corrected it.
They
That
corrected
day.
it when they
Was it
were
2 months?
advised, I don't remember if it was that day or the day after, but what came to the immediate attention was when, as a courtesy, I'll call it the roofer, when he looked at it, he saw immediately what the story was. I would still have not known to this day until it became obviously that creating like the Rube Goldberg kind of leader gutter system was not going to work for us.
Okay, but he came back that day or the day after the
I-
incident?
Not
to
him.
fix it?
No,
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 MJ,
no.
the gutter guy. You're saying
The gutter guy,
guy
when
who
they
originally installed the
came back,
gutters.
they did what they had to do, and yes, they changed out what work they did with that extra piping connection.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any
What
other
you-
questions?
I could just say one thing. With the insurance, it's like, I'm trying to think, it's like a gift that keeps on giving. Because what happens is once one has a claim, regardless of who caused it, there was a claim. So if I was dissatisfied with whatever company I'd want to go someplace else, I don't like the rates, whatever be the situation, you're kind of stuck.
That claim follows us.
Because the claim follows you. It's the same thing with auto policies. 3 people could hit you and have nothing to do with you. But you're kind of stuck. And in this situation, I thought we had it all resolved, that they indicated how they thought, because he can't deny that the loss happened. The point was, how did it happen? We know how it happened, and it would have been reasonable and proper if somebody's putting in new leaders and gutters, why wouldn't you check to see, well, what are you now connecting the leaders and gutters to as it's going in? I mean, we know sometimes there are almost like trays or things to get the water in the other direction. They did nothing, so why would I even have reason to believe within 2 months of their finishing the job that we would have had clogs?
All right.
Thank you for coming forward. We're going to listen to David's side.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
provide more questions. Thank you.
Wherever
Whatever you're comfortable with, you just have to be sworn in.
I had a long drive and I was sitting a while, so.
Christina,
Testing?
swear you in.
Can you hear? Oh,
Yeah, just give me your name first.
oh, David Ferraro, Good Guys Contracting.
David, do you raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony that you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God, yes.
So if you could just give us your recollection of
I guess, listening to Alan, first of all, I gotta say, because I think that Alan, or the Steins, both of them, they're super nice customers and I really appreciate their business. So we always try to do the right thing, always, all right? So that's my first approach in any situation, is what's really the right thing for the customer. So I'm sorry this happened to you guys. I thank you for your business, and hopefully we can resolve it and figure it out today. When they were saying that it was there was mistruths in the testimony, I don't know what they were referring to. I tried to be as honest as possible. I'm not sure what they were referring to as
Maybe you should
mistruths.
focus
Email
your
from-
comments
Okay,
to
I'm
the
sorry.
judge.
I'm not sure what they were.
I appreciate what
No,
you're
but no big
trying
deal.
to do, but
Okay.
just focus.
I'm not sure what they were talking about mistruths. I think that most of what they said is, I think, 100% accurate from what sort of what they were saying. Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't get it, so that's why I didn't know what they were talking about. I know why it leaked. I can kind of shed some light on that. It's not obvious to a layman, but anybody in construction or an inspector would be obvious to. I think you guys sort of ascertained by some questioning what it is. So that hole is not it's actually a roof vent or a roof drain, they call it. So you have a flat roof, not a pitched roof. They put sometimes they put drains in the roof if it's a real low pitch, and that drain runs through the top of the house and out of the side of the house. That's sort of for a flat roof, which the Steins have, is sort of industry standard. We connected the gutters to that drain because obviously you wouldn't want that pouring out of the side of your house. It's actually bad for the siding, whether it's wood siding or hardy siding. It can cause flooding to the basement by not hooking it up. So we hooked it up, and that was actually a mistake. So what we didn't know, maybe we should have. Maybe the Stein should have told us. Maybe we should inspect the roof before we install gutters, even though it's not really a gutter company's job. But somehow, how many years ago, maybe during Sandy, that drain was abandoned, and whoever did it, actually, they cut the inside. So that drain goes from the top of the roof and it goes out, and it just runs on the inside of your house and then out. So we connected that drain. When they abandoned that drain, whoever did that work cut it on the inside. So we hooked up a gutter to it, that got clogged, the water went up, and that's how it got into the side of the house. So I think there's probably culpability on both sides, if I could be honest. I mean, how much that's for you guys to decide. Again, we always should try to do the right thing. I think if I didn't hook up a gutter or a leader, that would also be the wrong thing. So that seems to be the issue.
So that pipe exposed was part of a abandoned roof drain system?
For a flat
It was, for the flat roof, yeah. If it was cleaned, if you did regular cleaning or maintenance, and that's what happened 2 months after we were there. So it was enough time for it to get clogged, and that's what happened. That's why it didn't happen right away. I guess if somebody cleaned it, it's still not correct. There should not be a gutter connected to an abandoned drain. That's what I mean. So should we have inspected it? I don't know if a reasonable person should do that. I'm not sure.
If you had inspected it, would you have seen the cut?
We really wouldn't have, actually. That's a great question.
This is behind the wall, behind the sheet.
It's a great question. It's a great question. I don't think so, actually. We would have been told. That's what happened 2 months after. If they cleaned it, if the gutters were cleaned and not clogged, it wouldn't have happened no matter, even, I mean, it was a pretty big storm, I remember the storm,
Well,
it
that
may have
pipe
leaked
was-
also.
The pipe was cut, that drain was cut, wouldn't it?
On the
And it-
inside,
I
it was
know,
cut
but
on the inside.
before, 2 months before, like if, well, maybe maybe it didn't
There-
rain or whatever, but
Yeah,
wouldn't
there-
there have been some kind of slow leakage too?
You would think so.
And then you would have seen,
No,
You would think so.
The drain was no longer in operation.
yes,
wasn't
but if
hooked
it
up
came
to
off
the-
the roof and there's a drain on the flat roof that's gonna connect to this pipe that goes.
No,
No,
into the
they probably, that's my, so, they
Wasn't
would have,
connected.
they would have plugged that
I don't know,
drain.
since it,
That's a good question. They were on the top of the roof, they would have plugged that drain. So I guess if the gutter company inspected it and tried to look for drains and trace back the
so
plumbing,
could
which,
that backflow have caused that plug to be displaced?
no,
No, no,
So
the
you might
the
not
pipe
notice,
was
right?
cut. The pipe was cut and the drain was no longer in operation.
correct.
I know,
So it's,
but the drain at the top of the roof was still there.
No,
No, no.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
He's saying that
But the,
was gone.
They
but
probably
the part on
plugged
the
it.
side of the, okay,
So
Side part.
what used to be a
Sorry.
hole, what used to be a hole in the roof
Gotcha.
is now just probably a patch or something, and then there's just a drain on the end.
yes, gotcha.
Again,
I
would
thought
it-
there was still something
You know,
on top.
that, I don't,
So
I
the
think I know
side,
the
even
answer.
on top.
I don't think a gutter company would ever even, you know, the best gutter company in the world would check for that. It's more of a plumbing issue. But again, so, the signs did call. I have a small staff. I have 2 project managers, a production manager who's in charge of ordering, 2 project managers that manage all the jobs. I have an office manager. And, both signs, I think mainly Alan spoke to our office manager multiple times on this, so it's not like we ignored him. We would never ignore a customer. It was multiple hours of conversations. We don't record our conversations, but I could probably get that if you guys needed it.
How did you find out about the cut, that it was cut?
So somebody else found that. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to direct them. In this whole thing, they had an inspector there, or like he was saying, he said he had like a roof inspector there. So somebody else found out that the problem, because we didn't know the problem. He said they called and said, "Listen, we have a leak." All right, and we I think we sent somebody out at first right away to look at it. We couldn't find it, but then the second it became apparent that I think it was like in a day or so that there was how it was happening. We sent out MJ Amigo Gutters, who apparently is not licensed but fully insured for sure. I don't know if you have the same insurance company. I could look at that. I don't know if that's. I mean, that was testimony, so I guess it's true. We sent out MJ Amigo Gutters with our project manager to take it off. That's when we saw that it was clogged. So that's really the situation.
Have you tried to have any type of resolution with each other?
You know, I think we did. It's just, and this is not. It's not. Again, my approach is always like try to be fair. So if Alan said, "Hey, listen, my deductible's $1,000. Can you pay my deductible?" I probably would have said yes. He said, "I want $10,000." I know the insurance paid for it, so I just didn't feel personally that was fair. If he said, "I have no insurance, can you help me?" I probably would have been more interested. But I just felt like personally it wasn't a fair ask, and it wasn't. I was trying to be fair. What's fair was actually fair to me and them. And I just didn't feel like that was a fair thing. I think if they asked me to pay a deductible, which I could say no, because it's still not my, but I think that would have been fair, because maybe I have some responsibility, or I could, or it's just good business. But that's where I am. You guys ask me any questions you want.
Do you guys have any other questions?
no.
Is there a civil case or anything going on?
No, so
We don't deal with money. So
Yeah, right.
Just so you guys know, we can't do anything with money, it's just with respect to licensing, so.
yeah.
Understood.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would pay, I mean, for Ryan, they could hear me, so I would pay if they said pay my deductible. If it was a fair resolution, I'll just do it. It's not a big deal for me. I just want to be I want what's fair. I did put it through, I figured, hey, if my insurance company will, you know, like Alan said, insurance does follow you, which is true. Maybe that's what he's trying to recoup is for the next 50 years of his life, I pay a part of it. I don't know what the $10,000 is for, but that he asked me for. But, for sure, like, you know, same thing when I put in a claim on my business insurance, and same thing, but I figured, let me put in a claim, and if I get money, I will. And I did, I put in a claim, MJ Amigos put in a claim, with the same information that you guys had. We showed them the clogged gutter, we showed them what happened, and both of our insurance companies separately denied it. So I did put it through my insurance company also. I tried to get money from them.
Okay.
Okay.
You do want to respond?
Yeah, do you have any, do you want to respond to anything that
Yes.
David has just stated? Thanks,
Yeah.
David.
To
Do you want to sit
the,
down, or?
Yeah, you can sit down.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're still under oath.
thank you. Mr. Ferraro, seems like a perfect gentleman. And that was one of the reasons that we hired him. And under the circumstances, the only difference is that there are people that would come out and take a look and they'd say, well, we need help for this or we need help for that. By way of an example, we did not realize that when you put hardy plank, it has to be applied properly, and that nobody ever said, well, once things start to get heated up from the sun, you could have additional problems. Those things are not part of why we're here today. The problem is just to realize that I listened to what was said from the roof system that was referenced was abandoned. And while there were still pipes from the system that had been there, they were not connected to the roof at all. And it would have been a good idea when somebody would be looking at the whole job and you see that you're now almost highlighting a PVC pipe that is coming through your wall, an exterior wall. Well, what is that? What is that for? Why is it being used? You just can't all of a sudden, it would be like, well, I see someplace where I could put electrical wiring. You don't know, if you don't know what you're doing, ask somebody, check it out. And again, to say in 2 months that the entire system, which was loaded, basically, it was almost turning to ground, to dirt from being there. Bottom line is, in 2 months, that does not happen. If somebody was going to finish your system, clean it out, make sure it's fine, there was a cost involved. Just do it the right way. And if they did it the right way, we would not be here. There was no immediate reason to have to, connect something. They saw it, they did it. The same way closer to the roof line. They saw it, they connected it. Sometimes you can't do it, and it's not the way that it was on the rest of the house. In other words, once it comes down, sometimes at the bottom it just, makes an L shape and, pardon me, leads the water away. It should not have been done that way, and the way that I feel, it was not done within a good workmanlike fashion. And my job, the way I've learned it, sometimes you have to take the victim as you find them. This is the house, this is the way that it was, and if they're used to doing it, then you have to tread lightly, because if you see the pictures, the water and the video was all coming through the system on the roof. The roof was, the roof stuff was working properly. It was only what happened with good guys that became the issue, which then literally cost us. And nobody was looking to try to do anything other than we submitted a claim to him for, it wasn't coming from me. They had an adjuster come in, look, check, and, and do everything and send a spreadsheet for what everything was. So it's not like I was looking to harm somebody or get something that would not be proper under the circumstances. And the only one who ends up paying the price so far is us.
So in answer to his, we're trying to make money on this claim, and I know you don't deal with money, when it was the deductible, it was, of course, Alan's passion is music, all of his costly music, speakers, receivers, whatever, was right in the basement, right under the flood. That got ruined. There was other fees involved, and when we called and said, yes, it was 10, but we would take 5, the office manager, who lied on the 3rd paragraph, saying they had to wait for the job because we were having roof work done, and it must be, I'm not pointing fingers, she said, but it must be the roof people that caused this. No. Sandy was when Sandy was, this was when this was. And she said, well, we had a meeting, we're not doing anything. You're not doing anything? No, we're offering you, we're not paying anything. That's why we're here.
Thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
I'm still on the road.
Just have to go this way to get you.
And you're still on the road.
Yeah, still on the road. So I see what she's talking about. It says we can't do their windows. I have to read the whole thing, but in context, if I just read the first sentence, it looks like that's true, because I don't believe we were waiting for the roofers to pull off the site. I think there might have been somebody there, I think, I mean, it was almost a year ago, but I think that's not true, right there. I don't know if you have to say this for a record, if the insurance company paid them for the contents.
Did not pay for
They
Don't,
did
no
not.
back and forth if you don't know.
Okay.
that. I forgot.
I know they're saying, I'd like to find that out. I mean, I have no problem negotiating and making
Can I
my
just ask you a
customer whole.
question?
I want to make my customer whole. I mean, they're a good customer. I mean, all my customers that give me the hard-earned money are good customers. They did pay in full for the project, so I do have some responsibility I mean, I want to do
No,
the right
I'm
thing
hearing that,
always.
and you're hearing that he's taking some responsibility. Question, the crack in the thing, does it matter if it was cracked or not? The fact that it was hooked up was the issue,
It
not?
was not cracked, it was cut. And it was
Whether
not,
it was
it's not
cut
wrong.
or,
Yeah.
whether it was cut,
Oh,
the
okay.
fact that it was reconnected in that way is what made this an issue, not the
No.
fact that
No,
it was.
no, no.
No. But what, so I'll like use my Pictionary. So if you have a flat roof, and it's real flat, and you want to get the water off, almost most roofs have a pitch. So if it's flat, what they do is they put a drain somewhere
Right.
in the roof, and it's pitched to the drain, it's easier. And then they run that drain on the inside of your house, like underneath your
Right,
ceiling.
Right,
And that drain will come out the side of your wall.
and that was abandoned,
And so what they did was, at your wall, they cut the inside,
right,
I guess because maybe they want, or the
And there
sheetrock,
was-
or whatever, like right on the inside of the wall. They
Yeah.
cut this side, maybe they removed all the pipes, which I'm guessing they did, probably because they wanted to show the ceiling, and then they put a patch up here.
right,
So here's your wall, there's a projection coming out, which we thought was still, which we would
You thought it was
reasonably
attached.
think, put a gutter here. That gutter clogged, water came in the pipe. If that pipe wasn't abandoned, then it would still flow, and eventually it'd almost be like if you flush the toilet, it comes out, it would come out the roof, it would have, in
How
sense.
long is that section of gutter roughly? I'm not holding you to it, like from the roof?
20 feet. Oh, the
From
leader
the
pipe?
roof
Yeah.
to the, yeah.
the one that was cut.
It's not-
How
no,
long
No,
is?
no, no,
This
no, no,
picture?
no. So this picture here,
That's a leader pipe, I think? Can I see?
yeah,
Approach?
it's a leader. How long is that leader to the ground, or does it go to another roof?
No, it's probably 10 feet, it's one story, 10 feet.
About 10 feet?
And by the way, that's brand new, so there's no way, it's not existing, I think Mrs. Stein said it was like existing.
No,
So
I
that-
asked
that's
if it
what
was,
filled
they
up
said
the
no,
hole.
they
They
cut it.
That's
cut
all
it
it was.
here.
Right, so they cut it where you
And
couldn't.
then they connect,
Right.
these people, they replace
Right.
the gutter.
If it
So
had
that-
not
so-
been-
so then
But if it had not been cut, would it have would this happen?
If it had not been cut and abandoned, it would have eventually, and there was no, let's say it was working perfectly, it was no cracked, it was not cut or cracked. The water would eventually back up and came out of the roof. It would have
come back the other way.
come back the other way, yeah.
The
Well,
issue was
only if
leaving
it
the
was
pipe
higher,
there.
Only if it was higher, otherwise it would have just.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
get it.
Alan could hear
No,
me before, I know he has a hearing aid, I'll say it
You have-
louder.
you have to
I
cut
take
it.
responsibility,
No, but-
maybe in a phenomenal gutter guy, maybe we should check roof drains, I mean, maybe we should, I don't know, I'm not denying that, I know Alan said
If
that.
you were gonna do this
He's
again
right.
and you saw the
Because if you
situation
don't
as a
cut it-
matter
It should have
of
been
course, did you?
Fool me once,
It shouldn't
right,
cut,
fool me
but
twice.
it
If I ever
had
see
to
it like
cut,
coming out
so
again
water
of a
doesn't
building,
stay there.
I'm gonna
Something had
check.
to be covered.
But I would check, no gutter company is ever gonna check, they're just
Right,
not.
okay.
I would check as a general contractor or the conductor,
Right,
because I had it happen to me before.
right.
But I don't think, I know when laws are written, they write, in a reasonable manner would somebody know, that would be false. If you
It's
interviewed
not
100
industry
gutter
standard
people.
to have to inspect that before you do that.
I'm sorry.
It would not be considered industry standard
It would
to
not be
inspect that
close to
before you
industry
do that.
standard,
Okay.
and that's what I believe, that's my testimony, I could be
Okay.
making that up, but
Okay.
that's what I believe.
Okay,
I think after hearing them, I think we could probably come to, I didn't know that they said we could do 5, and that means that they're somewhat movable. Listen, I just think that, I felt.
but just
I don't-
understand,
you
we
can't.
really
You're not-
have
you're not-
nothing to do
yeah.
with
If you guys wanna
money.
work that
It's
out,
great.
I think that we probably will work it out, I'm saying for you guys,
Yeah, no, it
You
sounds
know.
like you're
Okay.
reasonable people and you
Yeah.
can work something out. We just have the issue, this board has the issue of whether or not they can have
You
grounds
want-
to
I still have a
revoke
license
or
that you don't
suspend.
throw me out of
Yes,
town of Southampton, right?
yes.
You wanna try to
We
work
won't
it
throw you out either way, but yes.
Either way, you'll throw me out, but hopefully,
Yes.
all right, thank you.
I mean, I don't know if this has to be under oath, but we signed with him, we liked him. And the strange thing is, being an attorney.
They can't pick up your voice.
Okay, so being an attorney, we were extremely careful about who we signed with and how. And we've specifically said, what if there's a problem?
They did say it somehow, they knew.
We, clairvoyant, we said, if there's an issue or problem, he goes, if it's our fault or something comes up, we will talk with you, we will meet with you, we will take care of it, no problem. We said, hey, this is the guy.
No, we understand,
And then when we had the problem,
we understand.
Are you willing to negotiate with each other and then report back to us?
I am.
I'm
I
asking.
would.
All right,
Okay,
so we'll give you
So-
30 days?
We're going to close the
Yes.
hearing for a decision
Yeah,
anyway.
close the hearing.
They can inform
We'll
us.
close it, we'll let
We may
them
be able to
give it
do
for
it
30
in 5
days.
minutes. It's not gonna take years.
But that's not gonna impact
Okay,
the
I
Right, no.
understand.
decision,
No,
it's
yeah.
something that we'd like to hear,
If
no?
they settle, then we dismiss it.
All right.
They may
If
withdraw.
Off the
They may
record,
work
right.
something out. They may withdraw.
yeah,
We'll go into it.
Then they withdraw it.
okay.
You guys can talk, we'll put this over for 30 days.
Yes. All
okay.
You'll tell us an update or
Okay.
something.
right, thank you
Will
for
you guys,
your.
I'm sorry, do you guys give us your opinion no matter what? Like, do you guys, like, if the house
You'll
is
get
work-
it in writing, correct?
There will be,
Yeah.
so, any decision that's made by the board will be in writing and both parties will be notified of it.
And you all just, you can work things out,
What I
not
just don't
whatever
understand
it is
is,
you
I'm
do.
sorry, it's just, I don't know the
No, no.
process. Let's say you say I'm 100% wrong, right? The good guy's contract is 100% at fault, the horrible, you know, bad.
We're not looking so much, I don't
But
wanna say
like-
we're
like,
not
we don't
looking at
determine
fault,
fault.
we're
We
not
just
determining
determine-
that.
determine fault.
Licensing
No, we're just licensing.
criteria
okay.
based on the licensing.
Right.
Yeah.
So if it's
Not
100% my fault, you take my license away.
No,
Not
we don't determine
necessarily.
fault. It's just,
It's
there's a
not-
criteria in the code that you have to.
I'll talk to you outside.
Stand up to for,
I'll
for
stand it, so.
Okay,
abide by.
okay,
So we
okay.
just determine those factors.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just, you know, I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank
you for your
you.
time.
You too,
Thank
and
you.
then, please feel free to reach out after your discussion and just give me an update, or mail in, it would be great. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so, does anybody want to put a motion forward to adjourn this for 30 days?
I'd make a
We'll
motion
preserve
that we close the public hearing, leaving it open for written submissions or correspondence to our next meeting.
And to give an opportunity for the parties to settle and maybe.
We're discussing, the written subs, that way they can,
That's what he
Let
meant
us
by
know.
written, so
Yeah.
rephrase your
sorry.
motion.
Closing the public hearing, but leaving it open for written submissions, emails or correspondence, so that you can update us if something's changed prior to us making our decision in 30 days.
Is it recorded or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Does anybody have access to this?
Yep.
How do you get access to it?
It'll be online. If you want, when the meeting is done, I can explain how you can view it.
Thank you.
Okay?
I
Okay,
just wanna just clarify.
so I will second that motion. Do
Yeah.
I have, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes,
All
aye.
right, okay, so moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. You said 30 days for written submission, right?
Yes, 30
Yeah.
30 days to.
I just want to make sure you said
Yep.
a date. I want to write it in my
The
notes for
next
when I do the
meeting, I said the
minutes.
30.
Yeah,
our
I
next
just want to make sure that
meeting.
we're
Is it
we're
before?
making
I
minutes.
believe
ahead
that's
of it.
April 8th,
Yep.
correct?
If they settle, as far as
Okay.
settlement, they renew the
I-
contract.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, because you would think that that was
Brian?
event.
The only thing I just, if you were bringing your attention, MJ and Miko's Gutter Corp., that's the ones that actually installed it. They're not licensed with us. I don't know.
But
Right, but
then
isn't-
she complained
isn't it-
against him, not
he's-
MJ. That would have to be
He's
separate.
licensed, they're working under him. I don't think a sub has to
Sub
be
has to be
licensed.
licensed.
Really?
Sub has to be licensed in town of Southampton.
anybody-
Any work that you do on
Okay.
any property
All right.
needs to be
But that
licensed.
complaint's not against the sub.
They
It is, but they are mentioned in the complaint.
Right, but they didn't come to
They're
respond.
mentioned, but
It's
they
just-
didn't
I couldn't,
file
I
a
can't,
complaint against them, correct?
I can
Yeah, sorry,
actually
that's
send them a
Make sure we
letter.
covered
Yeah.
ourselves there.
We're not, we can't take any
Right.
action against them because they weren't notified or part of it. It's just good
Right.
guys. That's
Just,
all.
I'm just letting you know
Yep.
that was there.
Cool.
Any second.
Okay.
Okay,
Is all in favor?
Okay. Yes.
Aye.
All in favor, aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so new complaints, all right. We still have new ones to review, so we can go through and make motions on renewals. So I'm gonna skip over the new home ones. There are 85 renewal home improvement license applications. Do we have a motion to approve, or
So moved.
do we have a second?
on the new applications,
Renewal home improvement license applications, there are
Yeah.
85.
yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, there is one new plumbing registration application. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, and there are 8 renewal plumbing registration applications. Do I have a motion to approve?
So on the plumbing registration, you said one, I thought it says two here. No?
There's, well, what are you looking
It's
at?
on the last page.
On
under
page 5 of
License Review Board.
5, under the agenda,
Yeah.
on the top of page 5, it
Yeah.
says, you looking at the agenda?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So we made a motion to approve this,
Yeah.
the last page sheet, it's where it says licensing review board, it should say renewal plumbing registrations, and there are 8.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to make a motion on.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, so we have to finish reviewing these new applications.
You still have a previous application that's not approved. That's
Which is this
application
one?
the 22002.
Yeah, I'm gonna address that with this. Okay. Well, we can actually, may as well, we're still reviewing it. Let's make a motion on this one. On previous applications not approved, 2200215 Pinto Landscaping and Masonry Corp. This application was submitted on September 22nd, 2022, and there was additional documentation requested anyway, and we have not, Malin has sent multiple requests, and we have not gotten anything or heard anything back. So I would suggest a motion to just not approve this application, and if they so choose to resubmit it another time, they're free to do that. So
Second.
Okay, that's my motion then?
I'll second it.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Okay. 34.
These, my stack marks and Marcus second,
I appreciate that.
just in
Okay.
terms of the stack.
Thank you, thank you.
And then Amber.
Do you want to share with
It's the
me?
third stack.
Sorry, here, so we can be finished. Thanks.
Bottom of your stack, okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I would assume that was a vent pipe. That's what you would thought it would have been, but then once the roof,
drain, so it's.
yeah, tricky. Yeah.
And it had to be cut. Because you didn't
When they
want-
did the roof in 2000 and.
Yeah, because you don't want water to stay on those pipes.
Right.
No,
They should just have removed the pipe.
they should have removed that, yeah,
They should have removed the pipe.
But-
But I don't- Yeah.
okay.
Which is done by a plumber, because the roof drains are done by plumbers.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah. It's good.
We're still accepting all these affidavits, the county.
I still can't do background check with Suffolk County.
I went to the county yesterday, I had no wait.
Hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, thought I was gonna be there all day.
Just remember this being recorded, because we're gonna be able to hear that.
Sorry. Well, it's what it is.
And what is this new complaint? Is there a new complaint?
I don't see a new complaint, there's no new complaint.
There's no new complaints.
Your
Stein?
papers are mixed up.
It's a Suffolk County referral?
What?
Huh?
I just, all right.
Yes, Brett James.
That's an old one.
Oh, that's an old one?
These no more?
Yeah.
Thank you.
This goes on the ones that we gave you,
Awesome. Thank you.
then it's gonna be that stack, and this is the
I
last.
just got,
Awesome, thank you.
yeah, I only have one more look at.
Keeping them in order for you.
I appreciate that.
There it is. That one's okay. Okay.
Christine, do you know if Suffolk County is actually back up and running to do background checks?
They're back up and running, but I think maybe like either slower or on lag. I mean, it's not 100%, but they are operational.
Oh.
Last two.
When you're done reviewing,
I have
would like
two
the
here.
opportunity just
Okay.
to speak one last time. That be all right?
Since we made
The
the motion to
hearing's
close.
closed.
It is.
Yeah.
They're
As
just
long as
gonna
they
make fun.
understand that,
Yeah.
no problem. The board
Okay.
wants to hear them, or if you make a motion to reopen the hearing, you can do that too. It's up to you.
They've come to a resolution.
What?
They've come to a resolution. So they
So-
just want to let the board know.
So why don't you make a motion to reopen the hearing?
Right, so
Alright, I
let
just
them
wanna, I have
finish.
two left to do, and then one left to do after this. so. Last one.
Okay.
I'm on my last one, Mark.
Of course.
My hands are so dry. Okay, so do I have a motion to
Yeah.
approve 34 of the new home improvement license applications?
So moved?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, do we have a motion to reopen?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to reopen the hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Free to stay forward.
You're still under a
To the extent that we had an opportunity to discuss the matter in the foyer, we've come to a resolution, and subject to David doing what he said, which is specifically sending a check to us for the amount that we agreed upon, I will be, my wife and I will be totally satisfied, and we don't have to proceed further after that.
So and then you will dismiss the complaint, and you will
Yes.
You
Withdraw
withdraw
the
the
complaint.
complaint.
withdraw the complaint.
We will withdraw the
Okay,
complaint.
so you'll just send us a letter to that effect
It
once that,
would be my pleasure.
great, okay. That would be
you
great,
very
glad it worked
much.
out for everybody, thank
That
you.
was a pleasant
Thank you.
resolution. Thank you, guys.
Like that.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so, do I have to make a motion
So
on any of that?
I'll make a motion to reclose the public hearing that we just reopened. Leave it open for written correspondence between now and the next meeting. And we'll take it from there.
Same time, so for
Same.
30 days.
Yeah.
Um,
I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, so open 30 days for withdrawal letter. Okay, is there any other business in front of us?
No.
Complaints, previous, I did that. Okay, so the next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Nice seeing everybody.
Great.